Hello friends, welcome back for another part of our pain colony. We are mostly not in pain. I think we passed the most painful part already, but who knows what's going to be coming up here because we still have a long way to go. Here are the rules if you're new here or just need a quick refresher. We're playing on the hardest asteroid, on the hardest difficulty. Objectively terrible seed. This was the worst ones we could find, at least based on map traits. No mods, by the way. I've gotten that question a couple times. We're just trying to do it vanilla style, just kind of how the game was originally built, so there you go. Yeah, a bunch of other rules here, but we did finish up the requirement of having to stay in our starter biome for 300 cycles, so we have not left, haven't breached the granite that was here, so we are now ready to leave. So we're going to start doing that. My plan was to exit right here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm honestly not too worried about the heat that will spill in here, only because we're picking a spot that's kind of far away from where most things are. And the scalding temperature for duplicants is higher than most of what the stuff is over here. If my duplicants start getting scalded, we'll go with another strategy. But what I don't want to do is set up a liquid lock and have my duplicants pass through that all the time and suffer the extra stress. I feel like the extra stress is worse than the extra heat. So I think all I'm going to do is just open this up and we'll just create like an airlock or something for them to go through, which is really funny that it's called an airlock because that's totally not what it does, but okay. Yeah, so I think we're just going to do that and we'll start digging our way over here. I'm just going to create one channel as we leave the biome just to see what's around us. A couple other projects that I want to get started here as well is I want more solar panels. So I might rebuild this just a little bit and you can see all the bugs in here. I guess someone told me that to go with this to kind of see what was in there a little bit better. I guess you can because it'll identify the objects, but yeah, anyway. I do want to create a way for my shine bugs to get around this a little bit better. So I might move this panel over just a little bit, but the first thing I need to do is figure out how much space these extra couple panels are going to take and open this up so the shine bugs can disperse. The more I'm working in here with them being this concentrated, the more my duplicants are going to be subjected to radiation and potentially have some downsides from that. So I don't really want to just like jump in there and start expanding from here. I'm going to start expanding from this side and then move everything over the way I need it to. What I want to do is I want to leave at least one space here. Oh, I don't have glass. Oh, of course I do. It's down here. I should have pulled it out. That was not the greatest idea. I guess I could come in from the side. So, yeah, I just need to grab the glass here. I want to make the at least enough space here for the shine bugs to kind of transfer between the top and bottom level over here. So I think I'll just kind of scoot this over a couple tiles. Yeah, I think it'll be 2. Just so it's right here and there's enough space open. And then we'll get a little bit more organized for our next couple panels. So that'll kind of be the project. Also, I did want to mention that people were really bothered by me using the trick to check to see what kind of geyser this was. And, okay, I won't use that anymore, like I did say in the comment. If we come across any more geysers, we're just going to have to dig part of them out to see what they are. I guess that'll be more interesting than just using the little trick over there. Looks like we're coming up on an oil biome, by the way, which we can't really get into without suits. That will definitely burn our duplicants. So this might not be a very useful way to go, but if it's not, I had planned on a second one over here. By the way, we'll put the airlock up. I'd planned on a second space over here. Man, my scroll speed really is slow. I'd planned on putting another spot over here that we can exit from on this side. So maybe we'll give this a try over here. Might put some of our trees at risk, but our cooling is fine. I'm not worried about it right now. This is still holding steady, like only a few degrees higher than we even started. So cooling we should be fine on for a while, but now that we're finally out here, this is not exactly the biome that I wanted to see right away. What I'm going to do as we get further out here is just wall off with insulated tiles, because I'm not that worried about the heat, but there's also no reason to, like, encourage it, because it's not good. It's just not that bad. So, just to keep my duplicants less stressed and to keep progress moving, we'll kind of keep digging out here, and if there's no interesting biomes over here, which this might just be one big giant oil biome, which is not great, we'll go out a different direction. But I also need to like keep this open a little bit and dig down here and get started on the solar panel expansion. So I'm going to be busy doing that for a bit, and then we'll come back when we're ready to build the rest of this out. Alright, now that I'm fleshing this out a little bit more, I'm going to provide a little bit more detail about the strategy I'm going to be using when expanding through all this hot area. I do need to hook up our oxygen system here really quickly, but I need to wall this off, so we should probably do that first. So I'm going to clear that, or not clear it, but just kind of build some tiles here to wall everything off. Then we'll flip the switches to turn on the system, and that will give us oxygen to work with out here. The reason that I'm building like this is because I'm going to just create a bunch of hallways. And by the way, I am going to pay the cost to go and reveal this the way that we would normally, just to, you know, absolve myself of my wrongdoings from earlier. Just so I'll pay that tax just to... We would see what this was anyway, but I'll pay the tax for it now. Yeah, anyway. So all I'm going to be doing is on the top level, I'm going to be using these insulated tiles. On the bottom, I'm going to be putting some ladders down, just so all the really hot material drops down into these little chambers, and then I'll reseal it with igneous rock insulated tiles afterward. The reason I'm going to do it that way is so that we prevent all this hot material from being taken back into our base. Like, for example, I don't want my duplicants taking this particular piece of dirt, or any of the dirt that I find out here, over to my mealwood, because that's a really good way to heat up all my mealwood and put my food at risk. So definitely don't want to do that. So I'm just going to get all of our oxygen systems turned on after we get everything sealed up. So my duplicants can actually breathe out here and work a little bit faster. But then we'll actually just kind of create some corridors for right now, all sealed up with insulated tiles, and all the debris and stuff like that will all fall down below an area that we can kind of seal it off, so our duplicants are not tempted to run it around. So we'll get that part done soon, or rather here in just a second, but I probably should have gone into a little bit more detail about how I was going to handle this part, now that I've had a chance to just sit down and kind of look at it for a second. Alright, Abe's lack of animation there means he's about done building a solar panel. Sometimes animations get reset and they look really weird, but anyway. So yeah, we've got our extension for our solar panels up here. All we need to do is tear down this wall that stands in between our two little halves of solar panels here. I kind of don't want my duplicants to come in from this side, so I'm just going to lock them out of this room for the time being. They'll only be able to go around, and I did make a way of going around. And this kind of demonstrates the finished version of this, except for this tile, which we'll talk about in just a second. These areas I just kind of walled off as well, because there's no reason to continue building down here, because there's just nothing here. This is an awful biome to be up against, that we just really can't interact with yet. So yeah, now that we've got this all done, all we need to do is connect our heavy watt wire, which this may be a little bit of a problem for our duplicants, so I'm going to have to watch whoever's in here and make sure that they're not getting too radiation exposed. If they do, then I'm just going to have to, yeah, just being in there for a second already turns into minor radiation sickness. If it gets too bad, I'm just going to have to ban them from going through this door, which is interesting because I set this door up vertically because it's easier to get in and out that way, and I can seal this off more with insulated tiles. But I don't know what direction he's technically entering in or exiting from. I guess it's the left? I don't know. Because, like, he could go from here down, and that's right. But he could also go from here down, and that's left. It doesn't really work when the door is set up like that, so I don't know how to make that happen. But either way, we could just ban him from going through both ways. So yeah, we just need to kind of keep an eye on this, make sure he doesn't get too bad. But now that these are in here, you can already see these solar panels really wake up and start to disperse these shine bugs. And yeah, lots more to go here. Just need to kind of keep an eye on this. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're looking for as we get out here, because this is the first project that I wanted to get done, just to kind of increase our power usage, or rather production, so that we can add some other things later that are a little more expensive. But what we're looking for mainly is two things. One, I want Drecos. I can't get reed fibers, or I guess if we could get reed fibers, that would solve part of this. But Drecos would give us both reed fibers and plastic. So if I can get into Drecos, then that would be great, but I need to find them if they're even on this planet. I have no idea. But the second thing we need is some type of renewable resource to create food. Right now we are still entirely on dirt and the pips, which is not bad. Like, it's obviously been supporting us for a while. The problem is how labor intensive it is. By the way, our smooth hatch is done, so I'm gonna put this in here. There we go. I'm just gonna keep like 2. I did knock down my other population back down to 2 since we have what we want out of it, which is just a start to our smooth hatches. I guess we could put some metal ore in here, but I'm so low on it. I just don't really... I mean, what else am I going to be doing with smooth hatches anyway? So I guess we'll throw some metal ore in here. If I find any copper out there, I guess I could run it in here and we'll just deal with the heat. But anyway, I'm getting super sidetracked. If I can find Drecos, that would be great, but secondarily, if we can find some type of renewable source for food, and that being like water, would be really nice, because then we could switch over to some water-based foods, set up some things for that, so we're not taking as much dupe labor. And here you go. Here's another geyser of some sort, and rather than doing the trick that everybody, well, not everyone, but definitely people were not too happy with me for doing, we'll do it the manual way, and we'll dig our way all the way there to figure out what this is. And yeah, we'll know soon, but the first one is just a metal volcano. We know that's not going to be useful for us right now because we don't really have the right parts to interact with that. Another thing that's going to be a big problem is iron ore. There is iron ore that does spawn a little bit in these oil biomes, but iron ore in general might be extremely hard to come by on this map. So I don't know how far out we are from steel and a bunch of the other high-tech stuff, but at least we've got this done, so we have a lot more power production, which is really good. So if we need to run some massive cooling setups, that'll be great. This will also mean that we could potentially expand our setup for oxygen here, so that our duplicants aren't wasting time coughing and saying they don't like the polluted oxygen. We could distribute it all with just these gas pumps and with regular oxygen, because these morbs will just go ham. They will produce a lot. So we may expand this in just a little bit, but for right now, I'm just going to keep venturing out because our main focus is finding either like a water geyser or something that will allow us to grow food in a way that's not taking so much dupe time. Or if we can find Drecos, that would be great. So I think I'll figure out whatever this is. We'll seal this off, depending on if this is useful or not. And I'll kind of start heading out over to the left as well to look for some new stuff. So yay, let's do this. Let's see how far out we can get. Okay, so I'll just kind of keep at it with exploring, with figuring out what this geyser is. Oh, the other thing is we have an achievement. Let's see what it is. Oh, I always push the wrong button. What it is this. Distribute 1,000 kilograms of oxygen using gas vents. Very low-hanging fruit achievement right there, but we got it. So we're still doing pretty well. Why do I always do this? I wish it would give you a count of how many achievements you have, because that would be kind of interesting to display, but it looks like we're still not even like a quarter of the way done, if I had to guess. So still a long way to go, but we need to get out and explore first. By the way, I did want to mention one thing, and that is that there were people leaving comments saying that there are more hatches burrowed out here. So you're very right. I have encountered a couple of them already. I didn't even know they spawned in the wasteland biome. I knew that they would spawn in the temperate biome, which we're coincidentally approaching one. But yeah, so you're definitely right. There are more hatches out here. We probably didn't need to worry so much about making them extinct, but our hard work has paid off in the form of at least getting smooth hatches up so that we can start refining metal at a more like reasonable rate than these rock crushers. Speaking of the rock crushers, I don't know if we really need them anymore, but we're not really doing anything with them right now. I guess we'll just kind of keep this going until we get up to this geyser so we can see what it is. Yeah. Well, no. I'll just edit it back on. Whatever. We don't need to watch Abe, who is very green, dig all the way through this. Okay. I gotta say that revealing geysers manually is a lot more exciting than doing the trick, so kind of glad that we decided to do that because we have a water geyser now, which is a very interesting thought. The thought here is this puts out a lot of water, but it also puts it out at a really high temperature. And if we're going to grow food with it, we need to cool this a lot. In my spaced out walkthrough, I did show a way to cool this thing down, but it does require a lot of energy that I just don't know if we can push right now. I'm trying to think if there's any other way that we could really make a lot of use out of this right now. And outside of like geotuning it or something weird like that, which we might do, I don't know if I have a great idea for this yet. Certainly it's not cold enough to like effectively grow bristle blossoms right now. We are generating a lot more power because of these solar panels, but it's also like not enough still to keep an aqua tuner running all the time and also like run everything else in the base. So I think I'm just gonna have this thing hang out here for right now, and we'll just kind of keep looking around for interesting stuff. The other thing that I would really like to find is something that my shine bugs can eat. So if I can find some more phosphorite, that would actually help a lot in terms of increasing the amount of shine bugs that we have. So yeah, I'm going to start delving into this temperate biome over here and grab some stuff. There is a little bit of water we could make use of, but this source is just too hot right now. I think we will eventually use this, but just not right now. I don't think we have the infrastructure for it yet. On the other side, this is the first time I'm actually seeing this. Does this have phosphorite in it? I was pretty sure it did. Anyway, if there is phosphorite in here, that's interesting. There's also sweetles in here, which we may do some ranching with. I know that sweetles themselves, we will need to tame every single critter, because that is one of the requirements. Why do I always do that? Jeez, I'm trying to just get into the colony summary. We need to tame one of every single critter. But this is like not spaced out stuff, so I guess it doesn't count. Yeah, because this is like a base game achievement, so never mind. But the sweetles are interesting in terms of reducing dupe labor, because they'll make plants like put out more for what we get out of it. I don't know. This is interesting. This is also still very hot. Okay. Well, there's still a reason to keep digging this way, so I guess we should just keep going over here. Oh, this is a wall. Okay, we're here. We're at the wall right now. No reason to keep going then. I don't need to see the wall. So I'm just gonna do our typical thing of mining out a couple more steps here, and then we'll wall it off so that all this hot material is not brought into the base. Okay, interesting. Lots of different things going on here. I guess we do need to dig downward to figure out what's actually in this biome and if anything is going to be useful, so I guess we'll do that. Right on top of the... I think I have some people that can destroy this, so... Inspect it. Yep. Okay, yeah, we should be good. Alright, so yeah, still just going to keep venturing out, but that water geyser is definitely interesting, and seeing it for the first time via, like, tiles and visuals is a lot more exciting, so yeah. Thanks for yelling at me. It helped. Alright, we are starting to get our duplicants scalding, which means we're hitting some of the pockets of sand that are just too hot for our duplicates to be walking around in. Most of the oil biome is like this, which is why I don't really want to go through it yet if we don't have suits. But I think for now I'm just going to try to power through it the best I can, and just ban duplicants that are too hurt from working out here. I think the more we power through, the easier this is going to be instead of, like, being afraid of it. So, like, Hassan is now not allowed to go through here. I'll just kind of keep him there, or he can go work on something else. It's not like we're desperate to get down here anyway to see what's down there, but yeah. So I think that's going to be the plan for any scalding. We'll obviously try to avoid it the best we can, and there's not really, like, a nice way for me to know that I'm digging into something really hot other than just keep an eye on the temperature. Which sounds obvious, but I mean, like, color-wise in the heat map or whatever. Not a great way to look. So, yeah. That, I think, will be the plan. It won't be too bad, but I'll have to just keep an eye on it and make sure nobody gets incapacitated, because that could be a good way to lose a run at this point, which would be hilarious after all the things we've had to do so far. My friends, we have hit the jackpot. This geyser up here is a cool slush geyser. This is one of the best geysers in the game. I did not know that was here. So we will definitely be taking advantage of this. I'm not 100% sure how yet, but probably in some kind of simple cooling setup so that we can start cooling some of the materials that we could bring into our base or something like that. I don't know. Literally just saw this, so I haven't had time to really think this through very much, but yeah, we've got ourselves a cool slush geyser, and we should probably open this up and get it erupting as soon as possible. There's no reason to have this wait on erupting, so I'm just going to shift all the focus into capturing this really quickly, and I guess we'll just start, you know, building out something to collect it all. The other thing is there are 2 biomes right here, which are these like frozen uranium biomes. They're pretty small from what I can tell, but still there's some interesting stuff in here. The ice is somewhat interesting. How did a shine nymph egg get in here? Huh. The ice is somewhat interesting, the uranium is somewhat interesting, but I'm actually really interested in the wolframite. I think I'm going to feed this to the smooth hatches to get some tungsten, because tungsten is very good for really high temperature builds. The other thing that we could really consider is we have enough... Maybe we should actually use this for a metal refinery, because we will need to refine metal from our smooth hatches anyway. But we're probably going to need a lot more than that, and refining it at 100% is definitely better than 70. I guess we still need the achievement. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I haven't really had time to think this through. But while I'm thinking it through, I'm just going to build a big area to kind of collect all these cool slush for the time being. And yeah, that is a huge upgrade to what we are using right now for water or for anything else. So yeah, definitely an S-tier geyser right there, if you've seen that video that I made. Alright, anyway, so I'm going to capture that, and that'll kind of derail our plans a little bit. I was going to talk about kind of mining out this biome, and I think we'll still do that in this video, but yeah, we definitely need to unblock this to get it erupting as soon as possible. Hear that? That means we are getting close to the top, and there are meteor showers happening right now. I guess you'd know that from this, but the sound's pretty cool. Alright, anyway. So we've got the geyser uncorked here. I'm going to be doing some analysis on it so that I know when it's erupting and not. Again, I don't really know what I'm going to do with that information, but it might matter with how, like, skimping of a strategy we're going to have to do on all of our resources. So, yeah, I'm not going to go up to the surface yet because there's not really a reason to. I also don't really have the tools to deal with the meteor strikes right now. So I'm just going to seal off this direction, knowing roughly where we are. I think we're closer to the top than we are to the bottom. I think we're up in, like, the top left because of that unusual, or I forget the name of the trait. Bad pod location. That's not what it's called, but I'm going to call it bad pod location. Alright, anyway. So yeah, we're going to get this all sealed up and get this done. We'll figure out what to do with it afterward. I don't have any immediate plans, but I do want this because it is very valuable. If we're going to turn it into regular water and grow food from it, we definitely could, but we need to warm it up before we do that. So we'll find a way to warm it. I'm going to go ahead and guess that we won't have a hard time finding any way to warm water right now. So, yeah. The next thing we're going to be doing is just getting all of this area accessible and mined out. And I think the last part of this video, what we're going to do is show a sneaky way to ship all this stuff back. Because I do want to mine all this out. I do want to have it in my base. But sending it all there the typical way with shipping lines is probably going to be very expensive and also a little slow. So we're going to do a little sneaky trick to get it there faster. Alright, we got ourselves another achievement. Let's see what it is. Hey, I clicked on the right thing. Enter an oil biome for the first time. I really haven't. I'm wondering where I mined out that it thought counted as that. Maybe it's right here or something? I don't know. I haven't... Or maybe it's here? I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't really draw the lines very well as far as where biomes begin and end, but if I don't go through the Abyssal Light, I don't really count it that much. Anyway, We are making progress as far as mining out this temperate biome. I'm going to mine it as hard as I can, and I'm just going to allow all the material to drop kind of down to the bottom here, and then we'll build the setup to get everything sent back. As far as any water and stuff that I find, I'm just going to start collecting it in a tank that's more nearby so it's easier to work with. Plus, I really want to get it out of the way while it's out here so I can mine out the rest of this material and ship it into my base. This is taking a little while, but I guess with this few duplicates and this much like distance to cover on this asteroid, yet another reason why this is one of the more difficult ones. It's probably just going to take a little while to make progress on some of these things. Geyser up here is definitely erupting a lot, and we're just collecting the very cold, polluted water for the time being. And I think we're probably going to use it to just cool down some stuff that will be needed. It'll probably be to cool down all this sand. So if we start to mine out all this stuff, we could use it to, or we could use all this water to cool a lot of this stuff down and then just kind of put it back into our shipping network so we don't need to make more. So if I never have to make another thing of sand again, it'll be too soon. So that'll be nice. But yeah, I'll just continue to mine this out and we'll close out the video with the fancy shipping setup. Alright, I'm getting a little bit impatient, and it's probably time to start the shipping setup anyway. I feel like this is enough stuff that got mined out, and it's worthy to start shipping stuff back so that we can make use of it. So, the normal way you would ship stuff is like this. You'd put a conveyor loader up, you would have auto sweepers that like cover all the different space. The auto sweepers would load it into a conveyor loader. We would then send it back on some conveyor rails. I don't know why this feels out of position. We'd then send it back on some conveyor rails, something like this, and we'd draw it all the way back into our base and have it drop off there. But look at the amount of aluminum ore that I have. It's already running super low, and it's going to take me forever to build all this. Just to get that one spot back to my main base is already going to be too much. So here's what we're going to do instead. I'm going to cancel that. Everywhere that there is material, I'm going to, on the very edge of one of these auto sweepers, set up a couple tiles and put down a automatic dispenser. What this is going to do is every time you load something in this automatic dispenser, it effectively bumps it over by a tile once it unloads. So everything that this auto sweeper has access to, I can ask for it in this automatic dispenser and set it to super low priority so my duplicates don't do it. Or I could also mark it for sweep and then make it super low priority. There's a couple different ways you could do that, but I want to make sure my duplicates have something to do, although I don't think there's any shortage of the things for them to do right now, so I don't think that'll be a big deal. But when it goes through the automatic dispenser, it gets moved over to this tile. Now we can just set up another auto sweeper to pick it up from that tile and move it over to another automatic dispenser, like that. And we can just daisy chain these together all the way up until we deliver it somewhere that we want to go. The biggest reason why this is useful is, one, it does use less metal overall. But number two, it will allow us to get everything shipped there a lot faster than on the rails. So on the rails, let me go over to where we have the sand being shipped. This basically puts all of your materials into 20 kilogram packets on the rails. But if we do it the other way, these auto sweepers can lift up 1,000 at a time, and the automatic dispensers can empty a lot faster than that. So you should be able to move everything very quickly. And I'll kind of show this on a smaller scale. I don't know if I'll show the entire scale on this video, so it's going to take a little while for me to get all that up. I guess I probably should. So, yeah. Let me build this out really quickly so that we can see everything in action. We're going to have to do a little bit of a different setup to get it to go vertically, but I'll get all this stuff set up, and then we can see it running all at once. I'll kind of turn everything on at the same time. I just won't power everything until it's time. So, yeah. We'll get all that done. I'll build all that in the meantime, and then we'll get this setup running, and it'll be pretty interesting. We'll see how fast I can ship everything. Okay, here we go. Let's try this out. So I'm going to put an automatic dispenser here. This is the end of the chain. We'll kind of show the whole chain here in just a second. But the end of the chain, I just want to set this to 1 priority ask for everything. Then I need to connect the power here, which looks like it's not quite done. Actually, what I should do is probably connect it from the other end, because this is going to consume a lot. Although, if none of them are working, it'll be fine. So let me connect it here. So there we go. This auto sweeper is just going to pick stuff up and load it into the automatic dispenser. And the dispenser is just going to drop it out over here. So this is effectively taking anything that's near it and throwing it in there. So there we go. We just moved like almost 4 tons of material in like just a few seconds. So all I'm going to do is just get started on the other end, which is going to be all the way down here. We have a big long connection of these things. We'll kind of see this in action. I won't be able to turn it all on at the same time, which is unfortunate because that would look really cool. Only because I don't have the power to push everything right now and have all these things running at the same time. So it eventually will all be on together, but just not right now. So if we were to do this, I'm just going to grab some stuff from the side and kind of empty it out. So anything that's kind of sitting over here, I definitely want all this. There's like some cool algae and sandstone, dirt, sand, seeds, all kind of stuff that's interesting to have. And yeah, these are all just going to kind of clear out their area here really quickly. Which if we were to ship this out, it would take way longer than what is happening right now. So there we go, these ones are all running. Let's set this one as well, so that it starts getting moved over to this spot. And I think you can kind of see how this is all connected. Let me fast forward here so we can go faster. So yeah, that'll move it there. The next one we can turn on. I don't want to turn on all of them quite yet, but I think you get the idea. This one will start grabbing from this spot eventually once it clears out everything that's in its area. And then it'll just kind of funnel all the way up here. Each one of these things is set so that they can reach the loading point, but they can't reach the unloading squares, which are right here. These ones can reach the unloading squares and load it into the next one. It'll continuously pass it up the chain till it goes all the way back to the spot in our base that we want to have everything collect, which is going to be right here, where we're then just going to sort it out and put it all on these lines. And these lines could be all kinds of random stuff. Oh, my duplicants actually don't have anything to do right now, so they're bringing me a bunch of stuff, which is annoying. I don't want them to do that. So let's give them something to do in the meantime so that they stop working on this. I kind of want to know what's over here, so yeah, let's just kind of give them something to do in the meantime. There, go have fun. That'll keep you busy. Oh, I don't know why this got condensed down to just one. There we go. Who did that? Whose fault was that? Alright, so we'll keep our duplicants busy. If all that stuff is on super low priority, they shouldn't want to do it. They might still do it for just a second. Yeah. But I think you get the idea. Just like a super speed, very cheap shipping system here that will get all this stuff shipped back. And just to kind of demonstrate how quick this is going to be, we're going to assume that we started at 362. Let's see how long it takes me to ship all this stuff back. Now that I don't even need this anymore, I could deconstruct this now, because we will eventually expand further over. By the way, I did hit the side. We will expand further over, and this positioning doesn't really make sense anymore. So you can just come back and kind of deconstruct all this stuff, and kind of move on and keep your duplicants busy in the meantime, but that'll give us a bunch of material in our home base. So yeah, I guess we could turn on more of these now that these ones aren't on, so let's go ahead and set this. This one will start getting loaded up there. Drop it off on the tile next to it. Same with this one. There you go. So you're just going to keep getting this constant stream of stuff being loaded back and forth. Yeah, so pretty fancy trick here just to get stuff shipped a little bit more quickly. Alright, I'm going to run the rest of this through to see how long it takes for us to clear out this whole area, which is all the material from right here to be shipped back to the main base. See how long it takes for us to do that. Okay, and we're done. About 6 cycles to clear out an entire biome's worth of stuff. That is incredibly fast compared to the normal method, and we did it for a fraction of the cost in terms of metal. So pretty effective way to do it. There's obviously a lot of infrastructure and setup time and stuff like that, but this is going to kind of be the highway for shipping stuff. So if I want to ship all this stuff back and all this stuff, I'm just going to run through this same area and kind of ship everything back to the main dropping point. So now there is all kinds of stuff on this tile right now that is useful, that is just now within my base, and I don't need to go out and run it one at a time by my duplicates whenever I need it. So there you go, kind of just centralizing all of our resources. Alright, one more thing before we stop this video. We got another achievement, which is that we've been playing for a whole year. Yes. Cycle 365.25. I think it's actually slightly less than that, but we don't want to be nerds here. Okay, cool. I think that's it for this video. We'll call that good. There's going to be a lot more to do in the next one. But in the meantime, I'm really just going to be completing a couple more construction projects that aren't too interesting. Probably going to venture more into this biome. We're going to figure out what this is. We'll probably expand our solar panel area because it's about time for that again, considering we're running at full power on almost 3 out of 4 of them. And if we can find some more food for these bugs, that'll be great. Shine bugs. So yeah, we've got a lot to do in the next one, but we'll call it good for now. I'll be back really soon with another part. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments or anything. It definitely helped me out a lot. Alright, I'll see you next time.